Yet there were no visible signs of propulsion, no jets of gas, no solar wind reaction, nothing that could explain where that energy was coming from. You see, comets and asteroids behave predictably. As they move away from the sun, they slow down, but 3I Atlas did the opposite. It sped up.
Right now, something in space is watching us, and it just split itself in half on purpose. 11 hours ago, scientists discovered something that made them freeze in fear. An object from outside our solar system did something impossible. It didn't crash. It didn't explode. It cut itself perfectly in two pieces, like someone took a knife and sliced it down the middle. Then one half disappeared, just vanished, gone. And the other half, it's sending signals directly at Earth right now. What I'm about to show you will change everything you think you know about space, because this thing called 3I Atlas might not be a rock floating in space. It might be alive, it might be watching us, and it might be preparing for something we're not ready for. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why scientists are calling this the scariest discovery in human history. I've spent 40 years studying space. I thought I'd seen everything, but what happened 11 hours ago made my hands shake. If you want the truth about what's happening above us right now, keep watching. This story gets darker every minute. But first, if you're ready to dive into this mystery with me, hit that like button right now. Every like tells me you want more videos like this. And drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I want to know who else is witnessing this moment in history with me. Now, let's talk about what happened before the split, because the warning signs were there. We just didn't understand them yet. Before we go deeper into this mystery, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear in chapter 1 is just the beginning. This story is still happening as we speak, and you'll want to be here when the next update drops. Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Now, let's begin. Part 1. The object that broke the rules. For 48 hours before 3I Atlas split apart, everything seemed normal. Scientists were tracking it. They knew exactly where it was going. Every telescope in the world was watching it move through space like any normal comet or asteroid. But then something weird happened. 3I Atlas started speeding up. Now, you might think, so what? Things speed up in space all the time, right? Wrong. When objects move away from the sun, they're supposed to slow down. That's basic physics. The sun's gravity pulls on them less, so they drift slower, but 3I Atlas did the opposite. The farther it got from the sun, the faster it moved. And we're not talking about a small speed boost. This thing accelerated way beyond anything scientists have ever seen. It was like watching a car suddenly go from 60 miles per hour to 600 miles per hour with no engine, no fuel, nothing. Telescopes in Chile, Hawaii, and Europe all confirmed it. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a computer error. This was really happening. Scientists started running every test they could think of. Maybe Jupiter's gravity was pulling it? Nope. Maybe gas was escaping from inside it? Nope. Maybe the solar wind was pushing it? Nope. 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 Nothing explained it. Here's what made it even stranger. When things accelerate in space, we can usually see signs of it. We see gas trails, we see heat, we see something, but 3I Atlas accelerated in complete silence. No gas, no heat, no trail, nothing. It was like watching a ghost car drive down a highway with no driver and no engine. That's when the first scientists started whispering something nobody wanted to say out loud. What if this isn't natural? Think about it. If something can accelerate on its own with no visible power source, then it's not following the laws of physics we know. And if it's not following our laws of physics, then maybe it's following someone else's laws. Someone who built it. The scariest part? This was just the warm-up. Because 36 hours before the split, 3I Atlas started doing something even more impossible. Part 2. The heartbeat from space. 36 hours before everything changed, every observatory on Earth picked up the same signal at the same time. 3I Atlas was sending out pulses of energy, not random blasts, not explosions. Pulses, regular, steady, perfect pulses, like a heartbeat. And here's what made scientists' blood run cold. These pulses came exactly every 11 minutes, not 10 minutes and 59 seconds, not 11 minutes and 1 second, exactly 11 minutes, down to the nanosecond. second. Let me explain why this is terrifying. In all of space, nothing is that perfect. Even neutron stars, which spin faster than anything else in the universe, have tiny wobbles. Everything natural has imperfections, but these pulses, perfect. Like clockwork, like a machine. Scientists split into two groups. The first group said, this must be some kind of new physics we don't understand yet. Maybe there's a process inside the object that creates these pulses naturally. The second group said something that made everyone uncomfortable. Nothing in nature is this perfect. This has to be artificial. This has to be designed. When they analyzed the pulse pattern, they found something even stranger. The pulses weren't random static. They had structure. They had mathematics. They followed patterns similar to signals that humans send into space. It was like 3i Atlas was speaking, and it was using a language that looks suspiciously like ours. For 36 hours straight, this heartbeat continued. Boom, 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 every 11 minutes, never stopping, never changing. Scientists around the world stopped sleeping. They stared at their screens, watching these pulses come in one after another. Some of them were excited, most of them were terrified, because if something out there was sending a signal this perfect, it meant one thing: intelligence. Someone built this thing, someone sent it here, someone was talking. But then, 18 hours before the split, the heartbeat stopped, and what happened next was even more terrifying. Part 3, the transformation. 18 hours before 3i Atlas split in two, it started changing shape. Yes, you heard that right. This massive object thousands of feet wide started reshaping itself right in front of our telescopes. At first it was subtle. Scientists noticed the light bouncing off it looked slightly different. The shape seemed a bit stretched, but they thought maybe it was just the angle or a trick of the light. Then, over the next 2 hours, it became undeniable. 3i Atlas was transforming from a sphere into a cylinder, smoothly, evenly, perfectly. Now, let me tell you why this is impossible. When solid objects change shape, they break. Rock cracks, ice shatters, metal bends and tears. The pressure and stress of reshaping would rip any natural object apart. But 3i Atlas, it stayed perfectly intact. Imagine holding a basketball and squeezing it into the shape of a tube without it breaking or cracking. You can't do it. It's physically impossible, but this object did it anyway. Observatories in Chile, Japan, and South Africa all recorded the same thing. The surface didn't melt, didn't crack. It just changed. Like clay being molded by invisible hands. It looked like a machine preparing for something, like it was getting ready. And then, after the transformation was complete, something even stranger happened. Remember those perfect 11-minute pulses? The heartbeat that had been going for hours? It stopped. Complete silence. No more energy waves. No more pulses. Nothing. 3i Atlas went dark. It was like someone flipped a switch and turned it off. Scientists stared at their screens in confusion. What just happened? Was it done? Was it broken? Was it sleeping? For hours, nothing happened. The object just floated there in its new cylinder shape, silent and still. Control rooms around the world fell quiet. Everyone waited, watched, wondered. Nobody knew that this silence was the calm before the storm. Because 11 hours later, 3i Atlas would do something that changed everything. Part 4, the split and the disappearance. 11 hours ago, the impossible happened. 3i Atlas split perfectly in half. No explosion, no debris flying everywhere. Just a clean, precise split down the middle, like someone took a laser and cut it in two. The two halves drifted apart slowly, evenly, in perfect balance. Scientists named them Object A and Object B so they could track them separately. At first, both pieces floated along predictable paths. Scientists thought, okay, maybe this is just a natural breakup. Maybe the stress finally got to it. But then Object B did something that made every scientist watching scream at their screens. It turned, not slowly, not gradually. It made a perfect 90-degree turn, instantly, like a car turning a corner, except this was a mountain-sized object in the vacuum of space where nothing should be able to turn like that. Then it accelerated. Fast. Faster than anything we've ever seen. And then it vanished. Not moved out of view, vanished. Not went behind something, vanished. Completely disappeared. 1 second it was there on every telescope screen, every radar, every satellite. The next second, gone. NASA's deep space arrays lost it. The European Space Agency lost it. Military satellites lost it. Everything lost it. No light reflection, no heat signature, no gravitational pull, nothing. An object the size of a a mountain, moving faster than anything we've ever tracked, just ceased to exist. Scientists don't use the word impossible very often, but in the control rooms that day, that's the only word people kept saying. This is impossible. That's impossible. How is this possible? Some scientists started suggesting theories that sounded like science fiction. Maybe it bent light around itself to become invisible. Maybe it teleported. Maybe it slipped into another dimension. These theories sound crazy, but here's the thing. The data was real. Something disappeared completely from every monitoring system on Earth, and the only explanations we have sound like they're from a movie. But the story doesn't end there, because while everyone was panicking about Object B disappearing, Object A, the half that stayed behind, started doing something new, something that made everything worse. Part 5. The signal to Earth. 4 hours after Object B vanished, Object A started talking. At first, it was just a faint hum in the radio spectrum, background noise, static, but when scientists cleaned up the signal, they realized what they were hearing. It wasn't random, it was structured. It was a message. The signal repeated in patterns. It used prime numbers, the same kind of mathematical sequences that humans put on the Voyager spacecraft when we sent messages into space decades ago. Except this time, we weren't the ones sending it. We were the ones receiving it. For 31 minutes straight, Object A broadcast this signal. And here's the creepy part. The signal wasn't going out into space randomly. It was aimed, targeted. Every major listening station on Earth picked it up, but only if they were pointing at 3i Atlas. It was talking to us, or talking to something, and then scientists noticed something that made their skin crawl. The signal wasn't just broadcasting outward, it was beaming inward, toward the exact spot where Object B disappeared. Object A was calling to Object B. Like a person calling out for their friend in the dark. Then, exactly 31 minutes after it started, the signal stopped. Silence again, but only for a few minutes. Because then, deep space sensors picked up something new. A gravitational ripple. A disturbance in space itself, coming from a point closer to Earth. Object B wasn't gone. It was hiding. And now it was moving toward us. Scientists quickly calculated its trajectory. At first they thought it might just fly past Earth. A close call, but nothing to panic about. But then the object's speed started increasing, and its path started adjusting. Small changes, precise changes, like someone steering a car. Every adjustment followed perfect orbital mechanics. Too perfect. This wasn't drifting, this was controlled. NASA stopped making public announcements. Harvard went quiet. The European Space Network stopped publishing data. Everything went dark, but leaked recordings later revealed the truth. Internal messages between scientists used words like active control and intelligent guidance. Nobody was saying comet or asteroid anymore. When the James Webb Space Telescope finally got a clear image of Object B, what it saw made everything worse. The surface wasn't rough like a space rock. It was smooth, reflective, like liquid metal, perfectly symmetrical, no craters, no dust, no natural features at all. It looked manufactured. And then Object B did something that broke every rule of physics we know. It slowed down, smoothly, evenly, perfectly, no rocket thrust, no energy burst, just perfect deceleration as it entered Jupiter's orbit. In space, things don't just slow down on their own. You need force, you need energy, you need engines. But Object B slowed down anyway, like it had invisible brakes. From that moment, every space agency on Earth went completely silent. No press conferences, no updates, nothing. The last message scientists received was a short encrypted note. Object B holding position. No further movement detected. Awaiting instructions. Awaiting instructions. Not drifting, not continuing on course. Awaiting instructions, like it was waiting for orders, like it was waiting for someone to tell it what to do next. For 6 hours, Object B stayed frozen near Jupiter, completely still, no signals, no movement, just waiting. Then, at exactly 3 in the morning UTC, everything changed again. Every radio telescope on Earth detected a massive burst of electromagnetic waves, gamma rays, microwaves, X-rays, all at once, all focused, all aimed at Earth. The patterns weren't random. When scientists decoded them, they realized the pulses looked like blueprints, like diagrams, like instructions, and the signals weren't going out into deep space. They were coming down, straight toward Earth. Within minutes, several satellites stopped working. Defense systems went offline. Some people said it was just a solar flare, a coincidence coincidence. But the timing was too perfect. Every failure happened exactly when the pulse hit Earth's atmosphere. It wasn't just sending a message, it was activating something. And then scientists noticed something even more terrifying. Object A, the half that stayed behind, started glowing. A deep, steady light pulsing from inside it, and the pulses match perfectly with the signals from object B, one sending, one receiving, like two halves of a brain reconnecting. Over the past 12 hours, both halves have been moving again, not randomly, not drifting, moving with purpose. Object A is rotating slowly, object B is mirroring that exact rotation, every degree, every angle, perfectly synchronized. And when scientists calculated where both rotation axes were pointing, they found something that made them stop breathing. Both objects were aligning, pointing directly at Earth's orbit. At the exact moment the alignment began, Earth's magnetic field flickered, compasses spun, GPS systems glitched, migratory birds changed direction mid-flight. Something huge and distant had touched the edge of our planet's energy field. And now, as the two halves continue to align, one question echoes through every lab, every observatory, every sleepless government office on Earth. What happens when they finally connect? Thanks for watching. If this video left you with chills like it did for me, hit that like button right now and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Because this story isn't over. The two halves of 3i Atlas are still out there, still moving, still aligning, and we still don't know what they're planning. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you think this is real? Do you think something is really watching us? I want to know what you think. Your support keeps this channel going and helps us bring you more mysteries from space. See you in the next video, and stay alert, because whatever happens next will change everything.